All right, you guys. So check it out what we got going on today. We're gonna be potting some of these mamas up. Some are gonna be going into fluval, and some are actually going to be going into moss. Okay, so believe it or not, this little thin moss paper right here is actually it's 100 grams of moss. So it's very compacted. The minute you start to soak it, it's going to expand, and this will fill up like a 3-gallon bucket. It's a bunch of moss. So for the mamas going into the moss, I have already pre-washed and pre-soaked our leca. I got this at IKEA, guys, for $5. Okay. So what we're gonna do for the mamas going into leca, we got these clear cups, and we're gonna fill up the reservoir right to this line right here. All right, guys, I got my iPad right here playing some music, and I'm also streaming it wirelessly. It took me about an hour to figure this out. I don't have a capture card. That would have been the easiest thing to do, but I'm doing it wirelessly. So let's see if that works out. All right, so let's go ahead and fill up some of these cups. That's about as high as we're going with the leca. And these are just going to be covers. So this is going to get a good amount of moss for the roots to be able to grow. So as I was saying, I'm just going to fill up some of these cups with that leca. But I went to IKEA the other day and I bought a new cabinet and I got this big bag of leca for $5. Like, can't beat that deal. Right. So here's cup one, here's cup two, and here's cup three. So as I was mentioning, I have this moss that I got at Home Depot, long fiber, and I have this one, long fiber. This one from Home Depot is not bad, but it does get brownish. And this one I actually got on Temu, and it actually stays pretty light in color. So we're just gonna go ahead and open some of this. And this can be a little messy at first because it's dry, like most leca. I mean, most moss, but that's no problem. So we're just gonna go ahead and soak some in here. And I'm just gonna soak in regular tap water. All right. I'm trying to make as little of a mess as possible, but that's not always possible. But it's okay. We have our granite countertop, which is very scratch and stain resistant. All right, so all I did was fill it up with some tap water, and already it's gonna expand. When I first got this, and I was like, I bought this, and I was like, well, what is this? But I did the mistake of just unwrapping the whole thing and trying to soak it in a small container, and that thing expanded so big. It got so big on me, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't feel as bad. And you add a little bit more water. So we want this fully absorbed. All right, guys. So you guys might be asking, like, what do we have going on right here? So Lauterbachkiana Albo from Hera Madrigal Foliage. Beautiful, right? And this plant, I mean, the story behind this plant is amazing because I had a seller who I purchased a Lauterbach album from, and the whole experience was just really bad. And Hera just felt it in her heart that she wanted to gift it to me. So this was a gift from Hera, and it is a beautiful plant, right? All right, this is our Wenti pink elbow, and if you can see, she just unfurled her new leaf there, and it is pink, you guys. So super excited for that. What else? We have our Lauterbachiana Aria, another one from Hera, mad variegated foliage. Just look at the roots on this thing. Big old thick root coming out. So we definitely want to repot this up. And these are mother plants, you guys. So I still have a bunch of other babies in the cabinet. This is our Bambino. That's the newest leaf right there on the bottom. So this has just been a beautiful plant overall to grow. And look at the backside. I love those dark purple colors. This is this I got from a local friend here in San Diego, where I'm from. The Lauterbachiana elbow, of course, as you could tell, mad variegated foliage. There's a little sticker there. And this is a pink dragon elbow. So I finally remembered where I got this from. This is from Bella and Plants. And this leaf right here is the newest leaf. And it might not be too clear on the camera here, but it is pink. I mean, just look at the stem. The whole stem is pink. But the backing, so it's an elbow. This is a pink dragon elbow. And the back of these, there you go. So you can see it there a little bit. It's pink. And in the front, it comes out. On the elbow, it comes out as pink. So this is a very beautiful plant. And it's already producing corms, which is crazy. And lastly, I might have some others, but for now, for sure, I'm going to be doing these. This is my Nobilis K mother. And this leaf right here was such a beautiful leaf, you guys. When it unfurled, it was bright pink, marbleized, and now it's giving all its energy to this new leaf right here. And this is that second leaf, which had no pink. It had variegation, which was nice, but no pink at all. So I'm hoping all the pink is gonna come out to this. All right, guys. So this is pretty much what we have going on today. Now, why am I deciding to transfer these mamas into moss and leca? Because I have really been having an amazing experience with this medium. All my plants that I seem to have in leca and moss just are thriving in it. So, as somebody once told me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've been experimenting with a lot of different substrates, medium types, and the leca and moss right now for me seems to be what's working for me and for my environment. This Winti, this is in pure contra soil, so I still might keep this one in fluval and stratum until it gets a little bit bigger. Um, this one, the Lauterbach elbow, I think she's okay to go ahead and transfer. All right, guys. So, and I wanted to show you guys these chunks that I have. So this is from my Regal Shield mama. She was so big, and we're just gonna put this in some moss in one of these cups and just kind of like let them sit there in the dome, and hopefully she'll sprout like some growth. I did put cinnamon on both ends because the cinnamon's a natural preventative for disease and fungal infections. And another thing we're gonna do is Clonix, right? Hopefully this music is not too loud. All right. So just I want to show you guys what I got going on here. Right. So there goes my setup. You guys can see myself being recorded. And I like to have it here because one, I'm playing music, and two, I get to like see if everything's in frame for you guys. So, another thing, I've been having such an amazing time with these Meta Ray-Ban Gen 2 glasses. Initially, I wanted the in-lens display model, And when I want to go purchase these, I wasn't made aware that these were not that model. So make sure if you're going out to grab a pair, make sure you do your research and you're well aware of what they're trying to sell you. But so far, I have been very satisfied. I am loving them. I love creating content. So one thing I love doing is it gives you the dual perspective. So if you record on your camera and you record on the glasses, when you go to post on social media, especially Instagram, which is mainly what I use, there's going to be a dual capture button. And what you do is you click it, and if there's a recording on your phone that's in sync with the glasses, it's going to sync it up and it's going to give you that dual perspective, which is super cool for stuff like this. So as I'm recording myself here now, I'm giving you guys this in lens perspective with the glasses, right? That's nice and close up. And that way, like if there's something missed, like for example, if the camera is too far away, like I can inspect things very closely. As you can see here, this is a newest sleeve. Like look on the back of this thing is just beautiful, right? Just details that you guys can't see from far away. And I'm gonna be able to give you those details in the glasses. So if you're a content creator and if you're trying to do a little bit more extra, I highly recommend these Gen 2. These are the Wayfarer, but they do have the Oakleys. They do have different styles. I personally just prefer this, and I did get the transition lens. So these do turn into sunglasses, okay? Um, oh, another thing, Instagram. So it's all about algorithms. And so if you're trying to get your content pushed out further, they're obviously going to prefer or favor people that are using their tools. If you're using meta glasses to create content, that's a huge bonus right now. They want people to that are using this tool to they're going to push you on the algorithm because they want other people to go out and buy them. So if you have them, you use them, then your content's going to be actually pushed out even more. Currently, right now, on my dashboard for this month, I've already shown over 110K views and interactions on my Instagram, and I only have 1,000 followers. So that means the algorithm is pushing my content because I'm using their tools. All right. So just a little tip. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get on with this. We don't want to take too much time. I don't want to make this a full on hour-long video. And if it does go for an hour, it's okay. But we want to do this as fast and as efficiently as possible. So these are the covers that I had 3D printed by a friend for me. I did silicone the inside. So if you ever make 3D printed pots, buy the clear silicone and spray them on the inside. And that's going to help from any leakage, okay? Um, so what these are going to do, they're basically, I'm putting my Dixie cup in there and it's just the cover, okay? Now the Dixie cup, you ask, what is a potential size of plant in a Dixie cup? Well, I'm glad you asked because here we have a prime example of how big one of these mothers can get. So this is a Regal Shield, non-variegated, just a green, still beautiful plant, right? Still a nice, healthy, beautiful plant. But here goes the Dixie cup, okay? And if you see, I have it in a secondary Dixie cup, so this isn't a self-watering pot setup. But the leca is going to be around there, and the rest is going to be about moss. So this is actually what it's going to look like. But if you can see that, like, look at the roots on that thing. So this is potentially the size that these plants will get. Okay, once we transport them and repot them into the moss. So just wanted to show you guys. And for a bigger example, then I got to show off this girl because she is, of course, my favorite. This is my Sabrina. Like, look at her. Yeah, this leaf right here is going. This is the oldest leaf and the smallest. The leaves just keep getting bigger and bigger. And this is actually her newest leaf here. Just a beautiful leaf, right? And some of these come out reticulated and some don't. But as you can see, I have her in plain leca and moss here. And the root development on this is just like amazing. You see all those roots just branching down. And now on the bottom, they're starting to curl in. So as soon as the bots get to the bottom and they start to curl, that's when she'll be ready to transplant. But in the meantime, she's just hanging out. And I have her out here in my home in the living room. She doesn't sit in the cabinet any longer as she does not fit in there. So she's loving it, right? My humidity stays around 40 to 45 ambient here. I'm located in San Diego, which is a zone 10. I think it's zone 10B. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me in the comments later. But for now, that's what we're going to be doing, okay? So those are two similar final results of what we should expect. So which one should we start with, you guys? I'm excited. Let's do the Lauterbachkiana since she's already in moss. We're just gonna go ahead and transfer her over to one of these cups and just add more moss to it. Okay. So let me go ahead and grab a towel. Give me 1 second here. All right, so I do have these are my microfiber cleaning cloths that I just use generally for regular cleaning, mostly on glass or like TVs. I'm just gonna give this a quick little wipe down. All right, my friends. So what I like to do is kind of just stick your fingers in like this, hold the plat, give it a squeeze on the bottom over the cup because it will dry. As you're squeezing it, I'm kind of tugging and it's gently going to slip into your hand like this. Remember, everything we do is gentle because at the end of the day, plants can be a little sensitive. Now, as we pull this out, we're looking at some of these roots. And as you guys can see, these are roots right here hanging down, right? So that's a good sign. What I want to do though is kind of unfurl these and wow, look at that. Look at that root. Nice root development on this Lauterbachkian elbow. So she was definitely ready for a repot. All right. So what we're gonna do is just kind of I'm gonna put some of this fresh moss down at the base here. And I'm actually going to do a mix of dry moss and wet moss because the wet moss it's already expanded and the dry moss is actually has not had a chance to expand. So what we want to do with that is as it absorbs the water, the moisture, it's going to expand and help the plant tighten up. Wow, this is messier than I thought it was going to be, but it's okay because if you guys are doing plant chores at home, just keep in mind it's gonna be messy. All right, so here we have some dry moss and some wet moss, and I'm just kind of breaking it up all together. This stuff does come pretty compacted, so you want to make sure if there's any chunks in there that need to get kind of broken up, then you can go ahead and do that. All right, so now that we have this, all we're going to do is kind of just pack it around like this. We're going to go ahead and stick the roots in there. And you might say, well, it looks like you could have went up a bigger pot size, but actually Alocasias like to be root bound. So this is, even though she has a good root system, she has the perfect root system for transplanting her into the next size pot. So as you can see, we started her in this 2 ounce cup, and now her home is going to be around double that size. So just for perspective here, right? This is what she was in, and this is what she's getting potted into. So same height, same height, but different girth, right? Or different width. And just enough to keep her nice and snug. And we're definitely going to see a huge explosion of growth from this. All right. So maybe the towel is not the best. Usually I have a catch container, a plastic catch container, or I use one of those um, the folding plastic like tabletop collectors, but it's okay. We're live and direct today, giving it to you guys raw. All right, my friends. So we're just gonna go ahead and put her in here like that. Lauterbach on the elbow. if I can save this tag, I will because it does have a birthday. And what I mean by birthday is from, it might not be from the time that the corn um, sprouted or from the time that the TC was acclimated, but this is from the time when I received it. So this was received in December 5 of 2025. Okay. And it has the name. So for identification purposes, because sometimes you can get confused. Sometimes when these are little like this, they can look like simple albos. So super important to keep yourself organized if you can, as much as possible. All right. So that's the only one that we had in Moss. Um, actually, there is one more, but we're just gonna do one of these. So I'm excited to do this one, which is my sorry guys. Give me 1 second. All right, my friend. So what we have here is that plastic catch tray that I was telling you guys about. I'm just gonna go ahead and use it real quick because I was kind of making a mess here. All right. So in this case, this pink dragon elbow. This guy, I got this in December 10th, 2025. Right, and you can already see the root. You guys see that root right there hanging out. Beautiful plant. We have to be very careful. So I'm going to use a tool here that's going to help me. Let me grab this spool real quick. Here we go. So this is my little. I have a scooper and I have this flat shovel, which is really going to help me kind of get down the edge. And the roots are bounded up here, kind of in a circle. So you want to be very gentle. You don't want to rip off any of these roots. So once I kind of loosened it there, I slowly go ahead and tug and pull. And wow, this root system is just so beautiful. Now, if you guys could see that, look at the roots, right? Beautiful. I have the option to kind of shake off as much of this perlite stratum as I want to. That's one of the benefits of using perlite and stratum. It's very easy to come off and repot your plants. And I mean, just wow, just like look at that root system. Pink dragon elbow. Such a beautiful plant. All right. So, what we're going to do, whatever's here, I could technically go to my sink and rinse, but I am not going to do that. Okay. Having a little bit of stratum and perlite in the moss is not going to hurt the plant. If anything, stratum, fluval stratum, does have a little bit of what is it called? A little bit of properties that are going to help the plant with nutrition. All right, so we're just going to get a regular plastic cup and we're going to pour some of our Clonix in here. And Clonix is a rooting hormone. I'm not promoting this brand because I'm sponsored. This is just something that I have used for many years. Okay. The main ingredient in here is something that I always preach on is IBA, Indo 3 butyric acid. I'll go ahead and post it here so you guys can check that out. But they do have other ingredients. Pretty much it's an auxin, which is a growth hormone for the roots to be able to explode in morning growth. So all I'm doing is making sure these roots are getting nice and coated. There's really no I don't use a brush or no scientific method. I just kind of dab, 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 get it nice and soaked in there. All right, now we're going back to our moss here. And here's our empty cup, or our new cup, should I say. All right. And we're going to go ahead and put our base layer of wet moss just to give the plant a nice, healthy, wet start. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of cover this in the dry moss gently. And then again, with that wet moss, just kind of run it around. And then we're going to stick her in here. All right. Now, this might be a little flimsy at first, which is why you want to use dry moss at the top. Because once you actually water the moss is going to expand and it's going to provide a tight fit for your plant to be nice and safe and snug. Now, many of you might ask, oh, well, how do you know how deep to put in your plant? And that's a perfect question for right now that we're doing this. So on the next plant, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly how it's done and actually how deep do we want to go. All right. And all we're going to do now is just kind of top it with the wet moss. So you do use quite a good amount of moss in here, and that's perfectly fine. And if you want to get a brush and just kind of clean off your stems or anything that might not look aesthetically pleasing, but for the most part, we just want her to sit in here nice and happy and new home. Right? And we get her covered, and we just put her in here like that. And that is done. One more thing, once again, sticker, your label. If you want to create whole new labels, it's perfectly fine. But if I can recycle my labels, then why not? Plus, it's one less step that I have to do. Sometimes I actually forget to do it. All right. Bam. Pink Dragon elbow. During this time, you can possibly look for corms. Um, I didn't see any visually with any corms, so I'm not gonna worry about them. She's still very young. She hasn't had time to mature yet, so in this cup here, she will be maturing. All right. Now, with this fluval stratum perlite mix, what you can do is you can toss it. For me personally, what I like to do is I'll throw it back in my bin and I'll reuse it. I will reuse it as long as there's no root rot. If I see root rot, like if I'm transplanting the plant because of root rot, then yes, I will definitely be tossing it away. But in this case, we're going to collect as much as we can. And surprisingly, like having these little tools really does help you guys. Like I highly recommend you guys get yourself a pair of tools, definitely some shears. These little shovels are great. Like I like this shovel for collecting and topping off like with fresh perlighted stuff. And then this one right here for making holes for potting TCs or even aerating your soil. This one, same thing, flat and a scooper. You can always use both, different ways and different reasons. All right, my friend. So that is done here. Let's go ahead. Let's see. We need to make a little bit more of this moss. So give me a quick second while I do that. And like I said, this can be a very um, it can be very not dirty, but just you can make a mess, especially with the moss. So just be prepared to do a lot of post cleaning. All these super long fiber, like get rid of them. All right, my friends. Okay, let's go ahead and do our pink bambino. So this is one of my oldest plants. I started my plant journey in October. I got my first variegated plant. It was in October on the 20 something. It was a Friday. This is my second variegated plant, Alocasia. And I got this 11/3/2025. So I'm fairly new to this, you guys. Like I'm here learning as with you guys as well. And this plant has just like done so well. I'm very, very proud of this plant because she has been in my care for so long and she has not given me any problems. Now, she's been in this little 2-inch container majority of her life with me, actually, all of her life with me. So she could possibly have corms. So let's go ahead and see if we see corn. Now, there is a root coming out of the bottom here. So that means that her roots could possibly be tangled around the bottom. So once again, we just want to be very careful. I have learned patience, you guys. Patience is key. All right, so I just gave it a little pull. And as I squeeze this, I'm also tugging. Oh, and that popped out right away. Perfect. And as you can see, look at her root ball. I have my camera about 4 feet away from me, so see if you guys can see that there, right? All right, you guys. So here's a little close up. Here's the root ball, as we can see. And as I was saying, this pink bambino has been in my care since 11/3. Now, once again, what we're going to do is kind of just ruffle out these roots. And I'm just giving this root ball a squeeze. Now, after doing this, you might notice your plants maybe wilt a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. Now, as I was mentioning in the prior plant that we did this with, if I notice that the roots are really bound into the fluval and stratum, I won't even try messing with them. I'll leave them there. What I do want to remove is this wick. And when you're removing the wick, some of these roots do get embedded into the wick like this. And you want to try to, oh my God, look at this baby corn. Look at this baby corn. Like that is the smallest little corn ever. Oh my God. And these will sprout, you guys. So let's go ahead and one there. Wow. I'm a grandpa. Now, some people like to leave their corns in there. That one actually just popped out. And since I did see one little corn, oh my God, we got another one. We got another one, you guys. And there's more here. Wow, so she's definitely a mother plant. And I'm just being very gentle, massaging the roots. I know this can take time, but you know what? When you're dealing with your plants, that's the whole thing. It provides you patience and you take the time to bond with them and care for them. And so, in some studies, there have been many studies that show that caring for plants actually produce oxytocin, which is the love hormone that a mother produces when she's breastfeeding her child. So, apart from the dopamine we get, we're also getting that oxytocin. All right. So, that is a tiny little corm. Do we want to pluck it or do we want to keep it? Let's just go ahead and pluck it. And the only reason why I say to pluck it, it's because when a plant has corms, it's gonna pull energy from the plant to develop that corm. So in this case, we want, as we're transplanting her and messing with the root system, we want to give her all the energy to be focused towards her roots. And I'm probably not going to mess with this much longer because I was trying to see if she had any big bulbous corms. Since she does not, I think we're just gonna call it good right there. There is another corn there. I have never seen bambino corns. They are so tiny. Hey, Meta, start a video. All right. I forgot that I could voice command Meta to do it as well. My fingers were all full of flu, and I was about to touch that sidebar. No, 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 no. So it does give you a 3 minute record time per video. I have seen people with workarounds where they send a message to WhatsApp and you can actually send a longer video, but then when you're transferring from app to app and over internet, like things get very what is that called? They lose quality. All right, guys, so we're gonna go with that. Okay. This is her root ball. Beautiful, amazing. I don't want to mess with it too much because we got what we needed to get. So now we're gonna go ahead and put a little layer of this wet moss here. Get her in there. And where's my cup with my? In this case, I'm just gonna run this IBA and kind of soak it. I also do water my plants with a very small amount of IBA, raw IBA. I do pour eighth of a teaspoon to a gallon of water, and it doesn't burn my plants. All right. So we're gonna get some of this dry moss once again. Let's go ahead, just kind of give it a little bit of moisture here. Now, when it comes to how deep do you want to pot, you don't want it flush to the top. You want to kind of plant it a little bit lower, and that's going to give your plant to kind of stretch a little bit more. And you also avoid any tipping or any mishaps from happening. Now, all I'm doing is I got a mix of dry and wet moss, and I'm just kind of squeezing it. Remember, we already packed some moss down inside the bowl, inside the pot. And as I'm compressing, as I'm compressing this moss, I'm kind of giving her a little squeeze around, trying to fill any pockets. Now, you don't want to overly pack it because you can lead to aeration issues. So I just give it enough. And then to top it with moss here, if you feel the plant is struggling to keep itself up, then you can always grab some dry moss and kind of pack it in there as well. And with the first watering, it's going to get nice and snug. And there she goes, our beautiful, pink bambino mother. And you can already see some of the water from the moss already drained down, which is perfectly fine. When we water these kind of plants, you just want to water to the top of the reservoir or to the top of the leca and let the moss and the leca do its absorption. Let's get, we can't forget our sticker here. Now we should expect this plant to get about another foot tall. And she literally just unfurled this leaf here, and she's already working on her second leaf. Like, that is just crazy, but I love it. All right, so there we have our 3 potted mother plants. And I'm just gonna go ahead and continue this process, you guys. I got a few more plants to do, and I just wanted to get a video of this real quick to show you guys my process and what I chose to do and what's working for me. I suggest you try different mediums, different substrates. Every environment is different with temperature and humidity. One thing I found that if you live in a less humid environment, the moss is going to help because there's always constant moisture there. So spraying down your plants doesn't raise humidity. What's going to raise the humidity is the evaporation of that water and from the moss being retained. Also, you can leave them watered in that reservoir for about a week, and you come back and the moss is still moist enough. So, let's say if you have a trip and you're trying to go somewhere far, you don't have a lot of time to be messing with your plants, and this might be something that's a little bit more low maintenance. It's definitely low maintenance and super easy. Moss is very cost effective, and so is leca. So I highly suggest you guys give this a try and find out for yourselves. So if you guys want to see any more of my other videos, go ahead and follow my profile, Noir Leaf Collective. I got a few other videos up there of unboxings and other different methods that I like to do when it comes to potting up and deflasking TCs. Also some corms, like I have these little corms here. I'm going to put them in some moss as well. And you just lightly I just lightly mist the moss and put them in there and set them in a nice dark place and kind of forget about them. So another thing with this chunk, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in some moss in a cup and just kind of place the chunk right on top and call it a day. Cap it, and then that'll be done. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for joining me on this video, and I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you've learned a little bit here, and I'm going to continue going on until I finish this. But until next time, thank you all for watching. As I said, if you haven't yet, go to my channel and subscribe. Help me get to those 50 subscribers so we can go live. All right. Until then, thank you so much. I can't wait to show you guys or see you guys for the next video. Hearts. Later, guys.